So we've been talking about trig, right? Today's discussion is law of sines. There is no, like this, you can't sub in cosine or tangent into this particular rule over here. Just want you to know this is only for sines. So law of sines, trig is about to work for trig. I'm going to start to show you trigonometry that works for all different types of triangles, not just right triangles. All right? The only stuff that will only work for right triangles is the Pythagorean theorem. And you know how when you do the sine of an angle, it's equal to the opposite side over the hypotenuse, right? That will also only work for a right triangle because that's the only kind of triangle that has a hypotenuse. But trig can be tweaked a little bit so that it works for everything else. Okay. Do me a favor, take this down. We're going to attempt to solve this, right? One thing you might want to do after you try and take it down is draw a picture. That's what I'm going to do. Give you a minute or two, though. All right, so here we go. Let's draw a picture. I'm going to label this B, but you could have labeled it A. That wouldn't have made a difference. Doesn't matter where the angles go. It does matter, however, where the sides go. So this is C, this is 34 degrees, right? And this is angle A. Here's what you got to make sure of. If this is angle A over here, the side opposite is A. If this is angle B, the side opposite is B. And if this is angle C, then the side opposite it is C. The reason you need to make sure that that's the case is because all the formulas are built using that kind of setup. And so if you decide to alter it on your own, well, the formula's not going to work. What's something easy we could do straight off the bat? What's up? Yeah, of course. How do you find angle A, Julius? Sure. How many degrees to a triangle, buddy? Good. So angle A has to be 180 minus 80 minus 34, which is what? 66. Good job. Good job. All right. I forgot to fill something in. The only other piece of information that we knew is that side A was worth 16. All right. Well, what is it asking us to find? B. We're going to use our new formula that we learned. It's called the law of sines. We'll use our new formula. So here we go. Let's go with green. You could choose any of them that you want. Sine A, sine B, sine C. I'm going to use sine A because it's got lots of information with it. And then what's the other one we were looking for? B, right? So sine B over B. And you don't have to use all three also. Now all we do is just fill it out. Ooh, I messed that up. How much is A worth? 66, right? Sine 66 over 16 equals sine 80 over B, right? What do you think we do from here? Of course we do. Cross multiply. And if you get really, really good at this, you can cross multiply and do some of the work in your head. You will need to always draw a diagram. You will always need to write this initial step of the formula out. So that's going to be B times the sine of 66 equals 16 times the sine of 80. Divide both sides by the sine of 66. Cross it off. And just plug it into your calculator. When you use your calculator, you got to make sure the mode is in the degree mode. If it's still in radian mode, you're going to get the wrong answer. Just type the top in first, hit enter, and divide it by the bottom. And the answer should be 17.2. All right. Let's play again. Let's play again. So in the first example, I asked you to find the length of a side. The second example, now I'm asking you to find how much, an angle is worth. All right. So we're gonna draw a picture. I'm gonna label it up. 105. That means that side R equals 12. Right? We got angle T over here, which means side T has got to be across from it. And S is going to be down over here, and so side S is going to be across from that. Okay. We also know that T is worth 10. So what you might find in some of these problems is that they ask you about an angle, but they give you information about the other stuff. So what do you think you have to go and do? Diamond. You got to find what the angle of T is worth, and then how might that help you find what S is? Yeah, and then you could find S by simply subtracting away T and R from 180. Very nice, buddy. Very nice. So let's go and do this. Let's go and do this. Let me go and set it up. I'm going to go and find T now. So sine of T over side T equals sine of R times R, over R. I'm sorry, side R. I have no idea how much T is, but we do know side T is worth 10. R was 105. Let me just fix that up. Angle R was 105, and the side opposite R was worth 12. So you know the deal. Same thing as before. Cross multiplying. You get 12 times the sine of T equals 10 times the sine of 105. Divide both sides by 12. You get the sine of T equals 10 times the sine of 105 divided by 12. And then you kind of reach this step right here where you're like, damn, I really wanted T, but it's kind of stuck there, right? Locked up inside of that sine. So Lizzie, what do I do? We're going to use the arc sine, right? Use arc sine. Arc sine is this thing. To find T. So what do I mean? I mean the following. The arc sine of 10 times the sine of 105 divided by 12 equals T. And I'm going to teach you in a minute how to plug that into your calculator such that we're about to figure out how much T is worth. All right, let's show you how you could possibly plug this into your calculator. Here's how I would do it. I'm going to take the stuff inside and try and figure out what it is slowly. So 10 sine 105, hit enter. Divided by 12, hit enter. And now I'm going to go about doing second sine, that gives me the arc. And you can actually cut and paste with your calculator. These buttons at the bottom, see how it's in orange, yellow a little bit? That's the answer, and that's the entry. If you do second and this button, it just pasted the whole answer that I got inside the parentheses, and it'll give me that answer. So it's like 53.6. You know, you could, in this particular case round, we tested it out in our other classes to see if it would matter. And it turns out it doesn't. But rounding is always something that you should be like real suspect about. I know it says the nearest degree, but the earlier you start rounding, those little fractions can get magnified towards the end. So I'm not saying don't do it. I'm just saying be real careful when you do it. And if you're feeling uncomfortable about it, you might want to check your answer and see what happens if you hadn't rounded. All right, so it turns out angle S is just 180. minus, whoops, is just 180 degrees minus 53.6 minus 105. And so it's going to be what? 21.4, which is approximately 21 degrees. And that's our final answer. That's it. I think you'll see that in this next question, sometimes you might have to do the law of sines twice in the same question. That's completely normal. You're not off track, all right? And so have a go. Good luck. All right, here we go. I can't. Let's label it up. A, B, and C. This is going to be 50. This is going to be 35. This over here we're unsure of, but it's not hard to figure out. A is going to be equal to 12. Do we know how much B is? Nope. Do we know how much C is? Nope. Okay. Well, that's not hard. Let's try and tackle angle C for a minute. Angle C. Angle C is really easy to figure out. It's just 180 minus 50 minus 35. Yeah, it's 95 degrees. That's how much C is. And then from here, we're gonna go law of sines it up. And you always want to use the angle and side you have the most information about. So I'm using A, sine of A. And then what do you want to do first? You want to do B or you want to do C? Do you think it matters whether you do A or B first, B or C first? Not at all. Let's do C. Okay. Let's see it up. You want to do B because that's like logical alphabetical order. Oh. Okay. So sine 50 over 12 equals sine of 95 degrees over C. You know what we do. It's just like the other questions. All we're going to do is we're going to cross multiply it up. Oh, there we go. Okay. Kind of screwed myself over here because I went down too far. Okay, so that's going to be C times the sine of 50 equals 12 times the sine of 95. I'm not even going to, I do the same thing over and over again. Cross sine, divide both sides by the sine of 50. Piece of cake, plug it into my calculator. Plug it in. 12 sine 95, close it. Hit enter, divided by the sine of 50, right? 15.6 to the nearest tenth, or what did I say? To the nearest integer. And so what does that mean? Whole number. Very good, because that's an integer. Integers are the whole numbers, positive and negative. That's it. Let's play again one more time, and then we're done. You have to find the other angle. So it's the sine of A over A equal to the sine of B over B. Same deal. Sine 50 over 12 equals the sine of, how much is B worth? I think B is 35. Cross multiply it up. B times the sine of 50 equals 12 times the sine of 35. Divide both sides by the sine of 50. Booyah, booyah, that's out. And I think when you plug it into your calculator, 12 sine 35, hit enter, divided by the sine of 50. It's like almost 9. Okay, we're going to do question number 1 from your homework because it says something real peculiar. So look, this takes 2 seconds to draw. You draw up a picture. Then you write this down. We're looking for sine A over A, sine B over B, right? How much does it tell you the sine of A is worth? It literally says in the directions that the sine of A equals 3/5. So sub that in for the sine of A. Over 6. Yeah, from here, if you want to do this in your head or in your calculator, that's fine. You could, if you wanted to, just circle it up, right? You ultimately are multiplying 3/5 times 6, and then you are going to be dividing that number by 4. And I think, because I've done this already 3 times today, that the answer is 0.9. And that's the same thing as 9/10. What's up?